So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K25 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another episode of our LeBron Era rebuild series, and today it's going to be the New Orleans Hornets. Now, as I'm sure many of you are aware, the LeBron Era starts at the beginning of the 2010-2011 NBA season, which was actually Chris Paul's last season in New Orleans. He was eventually traded to the Los Angeles Clippers. Of course, in there for a minute was the Los Angeles Lakers. That trade was vetoed by the NBA, and then they ended up with a whole bit of a clusterfuck. But today, we're going to make sure that is all a moot point, because we are going to be rebuilding around Chris Paul, hopefully getting this Hornets/Pelicans franchise a championship. Let me know any other video ideas down below in the comment section. Slowly but surely making our way to the end of the LeBron era, I believe, after this one. We have 6 of these to go, so go through the playlist, see which ones have not been done. Actually, I'll just read you off the list right now. I don't know why I just didn't start with that. We have the Bobcats, the Nets, and the Raptors in the East. Here in the West, we have the Jazz, Clippers, and Kings. So let me know which one you want me to do next. Excited for this one today, man. Hopefully, we're able to get CP3 a ring. All right, so as I touched upon a bit in the intro, my main goal right now is staying competitive, and I want to be competitive immediately. That does not mean I'm going to go all in for year one, but ultimately, I don't want to piss off Chris Paul. I don't want that morale going down. I don't want anything to really interrupt the flow that we're going to have today. So, this roster is not great. That being said, they did win 46 games. They made the playoffs. They lost to the Lakers in round 1 and 6. But there definitely needs to be some work done here today, because this team, in terms of where things stands right now, is probably not close to contending, even with a superstar point guard here in Chris Paul. So, this is Chris Paul's last season in New Orleans in real life. We're going to make sure that is not the case here today. We are going to fully rebuild around CP3. Hopefully he's going to be the guy leading this team to a championship. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest point guards ever. That's my goal. Behind him, we have a user-created Jared Bayless. Jared Bayless, obviously not in 2K, so somebody went out of their way, made Jared Bayless. For that, I appreciate it. It is always interesting to see how the user-created players, kind of their mold, their build, if you will, kind of perform here in the game. The shooting guard spot's an interesting one. I like Trevor Ariza a lot. I think we're going to have some flexibility here, whether we have him, starting shooting guard, backup small forward. There's obviously a lot of different spots we can play Trevor Ariza, but going to be really strong for us defensively. We got a user-created Marco Bellinelli. We have Marcus Thornton, also user-created, and finally Willie Green in here as well, who actually, is he still the Pelicans head coach? I think he is. We moved to the small forward spot. A 33-year-old, one-year contract, 76 overall. Peja Stojakovic is probably not a 3-year solution for us at the small forward spot. It is something we will eventually address. We may even address it pretty immediately. But again, Peja, who was really good at one point in time, is probably not going to be carrying this team as any sort of reliable small forward option. Quincy Pondexter, we got Joe Alexander in here, the power forward spot. A 30-year-old David West is not bad. Anytime a player is 30 or older, I tend to worry about the regression a little bit. I've had David West in a few of these LeBron era rebuilds. His numbers tend to be pretty steady throughout the 3 years. Overall is pretty much the same. So I like David West. He's definitely, again, one of the better players on this team and a reliable power forward option. Jason Smith, okay. I was interested if this was a real person, because if it is, that's awesome. First name Pops. That's fucking elite. And then the center spot. Emeka Okafor is going to likely give us somewhere from 10 to 12 points a game, anywhere from 8 to 10 rebounds. It's pretty much what he is. Can hopefully be a strong defensive center for us at an 82 overall. DJ Mbegna, I'm horrible with names. And then Aaron Gray. No idea. All right, that is the team. Of course, this is a decent big 3. I wouldn't say it's an elite big 3 by any means, but we obviously have a superstar at the point guard spot, and we are definitely going to make some trades. Again, just trying to be competitive before we start year one. Very interesting first trade for us here. I have considered probably about 10 different offers for Peja Stojakovic at this point. As I mentioned, given his age, contract situation, overall, he was never really going to be long for this team, so I wanted to trade him. And although several other offers popped up for better players, the majority of them included me giving up draft capital, which, again, as I mentioned, I'm trying to be competitive here in year one, but I'm certainly not trying to sell the farm in order to win a championship. That probably wasn't going to happen anyways. But I do want to get some sort of solution in here, some sort of deal for Peja. So we're going to do this deal here with the Washington Wizards. We're going to be picking up Agent Zero, who is 1 overall higher than Peja. It definitely is not a long-term solution. It is not a trade that gets me super excited, but Gilbert Arenas, although only a 77 overall, is coming off a year where he averaged 22.5 points a game, which also makes me in some scenario think, why is Gilbert a 77 overall right now? Technically, the season hadn't happened. Who knows? We're making this deal. So Peja going to DC, Gilbert coming back. At this point, it's just going to go ahead and slide Trevor Ariza to the small forward spot. He jumps up a couple overalls, and although he's probably not a 3-year starter for us for one season, I can certainly work with it. And then Gilbert is probably going to move to the shooting guard spot. I think that just makes some sense as kind of a plug-and-play for a season. And here's what we're kind of working with as of now. So, user-created Jared Bayless has many years remaining, not many years, 2 years remaining behind CP3. Of course, we just picked up Agent Zero, who's going to be backed up by Marco Bellinelli or Marcus Thornton. I'm likely to deal one of these two just because they are the same exact age, same exact overall, and basically the same exact contract situation, with both of them being expiring. So I think at this point I wouldn't mind finding a little upgrade in the backup small forward department. Quincy Pondexter is young and has team control, but I'd like to be a little bit better than a 71 overall. I also wouldn't hate doing the same at the power forward spot or the center position. I don't think we'll get all three, but we're definitely going to make one or two other upgrades. DJ Mbegna, I'm terrible with names, and Marcus Thornton going to Indiana. In return, we're picking up 76 overall. 29-year-old Dante Jones. Also getting Josh McRoberts here in this deal. It's just a little bit of an upgrade at our backup small forward spot behind Trevor Ariza. Ultimately, this is going to be a nice rotation piece. This is never going to be somebody that really changes the direction of your franchise, but multi-year contract, strong overall for a bench piece. I love moves like that. By no means is this a long-term solution at the backup center spot, but for one season, I think it's a pretty good option. Willie Green, Cartier Martin, neither of which are going to play for us, and both expiring deals are going to be going to Detroit. In return, we're going to be picking up 36-year-old Ben Wallace. Obviously one of the great defensive centers in basketball, and at this point, he's nowhere near he was in his prime, but for, 12, maybe 14 minutes a game, hopefully he can give us something. And if he doesn't retire, maybe we trade him in the offseason. Who the hell knows? All right, I think that's going to do it for deals. Ultimately, I don't think, maybe there's some smaller end moves. Like we might trade Pops here, who's also expiring. Just doesn't really make sense to have him on this team. Wow, the Chicago Bulls willing to give up a first. Thank you very much. All right, that's going to probably do it. I'm willing to let Bellinelli hit free agency or user-created Bellinelli. And other than that, I'm pretty sure everybody important, outside of Jason Smith, is on multi-year deals. So let's set this rotation for year one. It is go time for our first season in New Orleans. The 10-man rotation has been established, and I'm excited to see how things really work out for us. By the way, I just want to put it into perspective. I understand there was a million different things that went into the fact that the New Orleans team is now the Pelicans, the Charlotte team is now the Hornets. I know there was a bunch of expansion, moving teams, location, changing names, all that fun shit. I'm not getting into it right now. I just wanted to say that New Orleans Hornets logo, hard as fuck. That is elite. One of the Hornets or the Pelicans needs to get it back. It's fucking sick. All right, Chris Paul, Gilbert Arenas, Trevor Ariza, David West, and Emeka Okafor going to be our new look 1 through 5. Bench unit will be led by newly acquired Dante Jones. Ben Wallace playing a few more minutes than I initially anticipated, but again, this bench unit is not elite by any means, so he'll have to do. Jared Bayless, the backup point guard. Jason Smith in here is my backup 4, and finally, Marco Bellinelli, or whoever's impersonating Marco Bellinelli there. That's my backup shooting guard. Interesting to note, Monty Williams, head coach of this team, has 0 stars offensively and half a star defensively. So, yeah, Monty's by no means the worst coach in NBA history, but those ratings are a little tough for my guy here. We'll figure it out at the end of year one. But for now, this is the team. He's our head coach, and I will see you guys at the end of the first season. Year one was a bit of a surprise. I thought this team had the possibility to be pretty good. I just didn't think they'd be 53 win good. I thought maybe like 45 wins or something, but 53-29, that's the final record, so maybe we're going to be in the mix here. LeBron James, first year in Miami MVP, as you all are pretty much aware of these awards. Actually, some things are switched up a little bit, but relatively similar for year one. All right, let's talk about the standings here. We are the 3 seed in the Western Conference, so not too bad. I can definitely live with that here. For the first season, we were 8 games out from the 1 seed. Of course, those Demons over in OKC take the 1 seed. This is, I think, the first time I've really seen Miami kind of dominate the East. Like, I've seen them win from time to time, but like firmly grasp the best record in the league. You don't see that very often, which is crazy because that big 3 was absolutely effing insane. 2011 finals, excluding. All right, Chris Paul led us in scoring here. You got Gilbert Arenas, actually not a bad second option, maybe boosting that trade value a little bit. David West, Trevor Ariza. You got Dante Jones, Marco Bellinelli. Thought Emeka Okafor could do maybe a little bit more in the scoring department, but 10 rebounds, not too bad, 10.5. Bayless, Smith, and then Wallace, who gave us 2 points, but 8 boards a game. It's not bad. Okafor did lead us in rebounds and assists, going to be CP3. So we're in the playoffs going up against a very experienced San Antonio team who is still pretty damn good, even if they are getting to the older side a bit at this point. We lose the first 2 on our home floor. We lose 33 straight games, and we get swept out of the playoffs. It's hard to call an entire NBA 82-game season a Cinderella run, but maybe that's what it was. Gilbert led us in scoring, but his field goal percentage was dog water, 36%. Chris Paul, pretty efficient. Maybe hope for a few more points per game. I understand Chris Paul is, not Steph Curry or Russell Westbrook in the scoring department, but still. West, Ariza, Oh, good God, Emeka Okafor. Okay, well, I mean, I can't really consider that a successful first season. Miami does end up winning it all. They beat the Thunder in 7, so... I mean, I can consider it a good regular season. It's just when you're a 3 seed, you'd like to win a playoff series. Unfortunately, Ben Wallace does call it a career. That's fine. I mean, we knew it was a strong possibility given his age and where he was at in his career. But, you know, if I was going to override this, it would strictly be for the purposes of trading him, which is not going to happen here. So we'll let him go. Larry Brown, Brad Nelson calling it careers. Shaq going to enter the Hall of Fame. We are going to do the draft lottery right now, which I don't think we have any picks in. I didn't really check our pick situation before I started simming year number 1, but nonetheless, we are not in it. Okay. No disrespect to Monty Williams, but how am I supposed to work with those ratings, right? I mean, there's 3 stars out of 5 possible in the potential, but offensive and defensive are just too bad. I don't want to fire Monty. If he had like even 3 stars in both departments, I would keep him even after a disappointing ending to our season, but I got to work elsewhere. I don't want to get Stauffer. I got him in yesterday's video, but if there's really nobody else, like Jacob Underwood could be. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll give Jacob Underwood a shot. Those ratings by no means are perfect, but I think I'd give him a chance because I got Stauffer yesterday. I don't really want to do it again. So Jacob Underwood looks very young, head coach of the New Orleans Hornets now. Okay, it is the 2011 NBA draft. Do we have our first? We do. It's at number 25. Also have pick 16 in round 2 from the Sixers. I am not going to use that. We'll actually send it back to Philly. And why the hell not? We'll just draft somebody, probably get a nice role piece. I mean, the bottom end of this bench is hurting a little bit. I don't want to get Davis Bertans again. I got him a lot, especially in yesterday's video. Reggie Jackson's lower in the overall department according to our scouts, but we're going to take him. Okay, welcome to the team, Reggie Jackson. I'm going to commit it to 72 overall. West declines his player option, no surprise there, and 64 overall, Aaron Gray picks his up. Jason Smith, I mean, for 74 overall, he's not terrible. I guess I'll qualify him. Do I not have the ability to bring back David West? Because I'm going to be really pissed right now if I don't. Do we? Oh, we do. Okay, thank God. I was going to be very, very upset. Okay, I don't think we're really working with much anyways in the cap space department. It looks like we're pretty much into the negative at this point. I don't know if Marco Bellinelli is going to be able to come back. Might just be an unrestricted free agent, unfortunately. We do have a qualifying offer out to Jason Smith, so luckily we will be able to match whatever he does get. So I will just see, out of curiosity, if Bellinelli could potentially come back. I mean, I'd like to retain him, but if he's asking for... Okay, it's actually not that bad. We'll bring him back. All right, welcome back. We will wait there on Jason Smith, and at this point, I do think 1 or 2 trades could be necessary. I'm not going to lie to you. I was not wildly impressed with what we got out of Emeka Okafor. I thought his numbers were a bit lackluster. Again, I understand he's not like prime Dwight Howard or anything, but I thought he could have been a little bit better. So we're going to move on from him. We're going to send him and Quincy Pondexter to the Memphis Grizzlies. We're going to pick up 24-year-old Rudy Gay in return. I understand Rudy Gay is a guy I get from time to time, and I will certainly be willing to, stop doing that in the near future. But for now, Rudy Gay was pretty much the best option we did have on the table. Good age, good overall, great contract as well. Unfortunately, I don't currently have a ton of options on the table. The Gilbert Arenas contract is not great, so there's not a lot of teams interested, understandably, even after a pretty good year. But I found a trade, and it is an interesting one, to say the least. We are going to be sending Agent Zero and Jared Bayless to the Houston Rockets, and in return, we're going to get ourselves Yao Ming and Luke Walton. Now, Yao Ming is 30. He is... At this point, I don't even think he was in the league still. But his numbers are pretty good. The overall is strong. He, of course, is on a multi-year contract, and I don't expect crazy regression. So we're going to pick up Yao. He's going to take over at my starting center spot. Again, it's probably only going to be for 1 year, but I think that overall, as long as it doesn't get like into the 70s, I think the contract should be movable, and I think he could hopefully give us some pretty good numbers. So Yao Ming, David West going to be my front court. At this point, we are... pretty open in our starting shooting guard role. There's a strong possibility we may just move Trevor Ariza back to it. I also could consider some other trades, but I don't really think I have the assets at this point, unfortunately. I am going to allow Reggie Jackson to be the backup behind Chris Paul. For now, again, the backup behind CP3 is probably only going to be playing 10, 12 minutes a night. We re-signed Bellinelli. He'll remain the backup 2 guard. And then, logically, I think it does make sense to move Trevor Ariza, even if that overall goes down 1 or 2, back to the 2 guard spot. He goes down 2. Not my favorite thing in the world, but considering I don't think there's a possible way for me to really get a player that's like significantly better than him, and he has multiple years of team control remaining, I'll leave him at the 2-guard spot for now. So Ariza will stay there. Bellinelli will be his backup. I think I'll likely move off of Dante Jones, just given that him and Walton, similar overall, similar age. But of course, Walton has, 2 years of team control, where Jones, even if he is the better player, only has 1. So we need to flip him for either a center or a power forward, whichever one we don't get. We will just sign out of free agency, and then I will see you guys at the start of year number 2. So let's just see what we got here. Hakeem Warwick. I can get DeAndre Jordan. Well, I got him in yesterday's video, so sorry for the spoiler if you haven't watched it already. Timofey Mozgov, or whoever the hell that is. We are going to, oh boy, Matt Bonner. Yeah, it's not great, but it might be my best option. All right, Matt Bonner, welcome to the team. Again, multiple years of team control is all I can really ask for. And then, can I get a center after trading Aaron Gray? Like, anybody stupid enough to give me a first? No. But I do get a trade exception. All right, let's look at some center options here. Again, they're not going to be great. They're really not even real people, quite frankly. Oh, Jason Collins, I guess. I mean, Samardo Samuels is relatively young, so maybe that's actually my best option. Gross. Oh, wait, I got Jason Smith as well. All right, actually, fuck that. Jason Smith's 7 feet tall. I'm just going to wait till he either accepts an offer or does something else. Completely forgot about that. I'll see you guys at the start of year number 2. I don't know why I didn't see this coming, but this fucking bum, Luke Walton, ended up regressing significantly. So we're going to flip him and Michael Redd, who somehow ended up on this team, for John Salmons here from the Atlanta Hawks. Now, the contract's not great, but you know what? He's going to slide into the backup small forward role. Also going to be acquiring a draft pick from Atlanta here. So, yeah, now we'll set the rotation. Second season, we are officially ready to go here in New Orleans. We had a relatively busy offseason, made a couple moves, and rotation is done. Chris Paul, Trevor Ariza going to be my backcourt. Of course, we brought in Rudy Gay this offseason to take over at small forward. Re-signed David West, and of course traded for Yao Ming, who in a shocking and I guess somewhat wild turn of events has actually progressed. He's up to 86 overall now. Definitely didn't see that one coming. Bench unit. We just traded for John Salmons. He's actually going to be my 6th man. Matt Bonner behind him. Jason Smith, I don't know why I didn't even just check. I actually was able to just re-sign him, so brought him back on a 2-year deal. He'll be the backup center. Marco Bellinelli, and then finally Reggie Jackson. So, are we better than last year? I think my answer to that is yes. Are we so much better to the point that we should be, the favorites or a really strong contending team here in the West? I don't know. I guess we'll find that out together. See you guys at the end of the second year. Really good second season. 58-24 is going to be the final record. I have no idea if it's the best in the West, but we will find out momentarily. Derrick Rose seems to always win the MVP award at the end of year 2. Kyrie Irving ended up in Phoenix. He's your rookie of the year. Goran Dragic will be his backup. He's your 6th man. Timmy D is your depoy. Dragic also wins most improved. And no, we did not have the best record in the West, as Keith Smart going to be your coach of the year. But we are the 3 seed. Once again, last year we were the 3 seed. It did not go too well. But yeah, I mean, the West is just a really good conference. There's absolutely no denying that at this point in time. Let's talk about some of the numbers for this team. Points per game led by Rudy Gay. Looks like he was a very good addition. Behind him is Yao Ming, who was as dominant as ever. I mean, he's up to an 87 overall now. When I acquired Yao Ming, I thought it was going to be kind of a 1-year plug and play. Maybe that value could be kind of high entering the first offseason or second offseason, but no, he seems to be, again, as dominant as ever. CP3, David West, Ariza, Salmons, Bellinelli, Bonner, Smith, and then Jackson. Yao Ming led us in rebounds and assists. CP3 at 13.5 dimes a game. Oops, that's insane. Okay, well, it is a little bit of deja vu right now because San Antonio was also the 6th seed last year. They also beat us last year, but this time we're looking for a little revenge. We're up 3-0. They do take game 4 on their home floor. We end up closing them out in 5. We are now moving on to, oh boy, the Demons in OKC, which I don't know if we're better than. I don't think I can really make an argument that we are. Well, we'll fight back a little bit. That's going to be all she wrote. Lose the series in 6 out of curiosity. Of course, the playoff stats here. That's round 1. Here's going to be round 2. Yeah, I mean, nobody was wild. Ariza was tough in the scoring department. I mean, especially the splits. Oh, David West was pretty bad. We're just not as good as the Thunder. I don't really think that's a bad loss. It is what it is. LeBron and the Heat go back-to-back. I don't know why. This is like the first time I've done one of these LeBron era rebuilds where I've seen LeBron and the Heat like wildly dominant, which again is crazy because throughout this era, it's called the LeBron era. They were pretty damn dominant. Okay, well, it is time for the final offseason. We know we're good. We just know we're not quite as good as some of the other contending teams. So we're going to take a minute here. We'll sort through this lottery and everything like that. I'm still pretty happy with what Jacob Underwood's done for us. I don't think we exited early. I think we kind of hit our ceiling as a team. So I do think there needs to be one more upgrade with this group. We, again, will draft somebody here in the number 26 overall selection. I got Aaron Baines the other day. I guess Justin Holiday. I'll just take Baines. Oh, wait, no. I got Festus Ezeli the other day. That's fine. 72 overall for Aaron Baines. CP3, this is a big priority, because if CP3 doesn't come back, we're pretty much chalked at this point. He has one offer. It's from the Lakers. Not even a real contract. We're going to bring back CP3. Okay, that's good that CP3 is willing to return, because I have had scenarios that have come up similar to this in past rebuilds where I've had superstar players basically leave me for nothing, which thankfully is not the case today. Okay, we know we're good. We know we're close to, hopefully a championship, but there definitely needs to be one more major move. Trying to get Andre Iguodala here from the Philadelphia 76ers. I think he'd provide a really good kind of shooting guard addition. I think his defense is going to end up being really beneficial for this team as well. And it's just in general a nice upgrade. So that's the package we gave up. We certainly do lose a little bit of depth there with Salmons and Bonner. And then, of course, the draft picks aren't really the end of the world, because we can't take them with us, as I always say. Reggie Jackson will remain the backup there. I think I'm likely to move Ariza to be the new backup behind Rudy Gay, which I guess in some sense of it, with Ariza moving to the bench, does improve this bench unit. I wouldn't mind trying to make one other upgrade on the bench. Jason Smith is probably good enough, but I do think a new backup power forward is desperately needed. So Ersan Ilyasova, Mehmet Okur sitting here, Ronnie Turioff. I can bring in Darko if I really wanted to. I don't really love any of these, quite frankly. Let's just see. I guess Ersan Ilyasova is probably going to be my best option. He is 31, and barring any sort of crazy regression, is probably going to be what we have to work with. Okay, well, I think this is about going to be the team. I don't really see anything else that's super necessary. I mean, again, I could consider a David West trade, but given his contract and what it is, and really just the assets we have, I don't really see anybody else that could make a ton of sense for me. So I'm probably going to hold off for now. Maybe there's a move. If there is, I'll see you guys at the start of year 3. Final season in New Orleans. We decided not to make any other major moves, and this team, this 10-man rotation is all finalized. Here's how it's going to shake out. Chris Paul, now joined by Andre Iguodala in the backcourt. Of course, still have Rudy Gay here. Still have David West, and then Yao Ming continues to just kind of, defy how this game tends to work. Typically, as players get older, their overall goes down. Yao Ming, I think, started out as, an 84, 85? He's now up to an 88, so your guess is as good as mine. Trevor Ariza slides into a 6-man role. Behind him is going to be Jason Smith, Reggie Jackson, Ersan Ilyasova, and finally Marco Bellinelli. So, I'm a little bit nervous about the back-end depth of this team. I mean, they're fine players in terms of the mid-70 overalls, but just a little hesitant on if it's good enough to win a championship. But we'll find out together, man. I'll see you guys at the end of the third and final season here in New Orleans. So Derrick Rose has won another MVP. More importantly, as it pertains to us, we go 67-15. Looks like the buttons we pushed work, at least in terms of the regular season. I'm really happy right now. Again, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but maybe a championship's on the horizon. Anthony Davis ends up in Minnesota. You got Tyreek Evans winning 6th man of the year. Dwight Howard, Depoy, Klay Thompson most improved. And our head coach, Mr. Jacob Underwood, Coach of the Year. All right, it is time for the final playoff run. For the first time in this video, we are the 1 seed. We won the conference by 6 games. We had the best record in all of basketball. Okay, here are the numbers across the board. Scoring is pretty well spread out, but that's expected given the options we do have here with this squad. So it is now championship or bust time. Can we get this done? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, no. I mean, I understand the surrounding core, besides Kobe and Pau, isn't necessarily super. Okay, we swept them. What am I bitching about? Portland here in round 2. Jared Bayless, an old friend. Wait, right? Yeah. No. Yes. Okay. He's up to an 83. Wow. Brandon Roy, Batum, Aldridge, Greg Oden. I'm getting my teams confused from my videos. All right, we are up 2-0 right now. Make that 3-0. Yet to lose a playoff game. We sweep them. It is time for the Golden State Warriors here. Monte Ellis, Andre Kirilenko, David Lee, Epke Udo, Darrell Wright. Not a lot of major changes, just a lot of progression there for Golden State, and we have yet to lose a fucking playoff game. Was Andre Iguodala really the missing piece this entire time? All right, well, for the first time ever in one of these LeBron era rebuilds, this Heat team has been, uncharacteristically dominant. I'm talking uncharacteristic here in 2K. It's not in real life. They were unbelievable in real life, but here in 2K, they tend to win a championship maybe once a video. Sometimes they don't even win one. It's very, very strange, but we know what they are. They're loaded. They also somehow added Sean Livingston. Fun fact, never missed a mid-range in his life. You got Birdman in here, Mike Dunleavy, Gian Leon. All right, no denying they had the best player in the series. I think that's pretty obvious. And are we going to, what the? we finally lose a playoff game, but what on earth is this video? I mean, we struggled throughout the playoffs the first 2 seasons. We had Andre Iguodala, and all of a sudden we're, you know, the 2016 Warriors. Well, they didn't win a championship, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, that's insane. Fine by me. All right, well, this one was fun. I'm happy to get CP3 a ring. At this point in his distinguished career, I don't know if Chris Paul is going to be getting a ring. I think he said he still wants to play at least one more season. I don't think it's going to be with the Spurs, so I'll be very interested to see if he, you know, finds a role and, you know, goes to a team that's willing to pay him and give him, you know, significant playing time, or if he's really just in the kind of the business for going out and ring chasing at this point. I wouldn't blame the guy if he is, but I do hope CP3 is able to get a ring before he retires. He's one of the great point guards in the history of the sport, and sad that he has not got one to this point. So let me know any other video ideas down below in the comment section. Of course, as I mentioned, I read you off the list of teams we have yet to do earlier in this video. I will continue to make my way through it. I think we did 4 of these this week, which I think is a pretty good pace until the actual NBA offseason does kick off. So that'll do it for me. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.